Well, welcome everybody. My name's Aaron Whittier. I'm excited for you guys all to be here tonight. If you've been invited here or if you're watching the recording by chance, we're happy that you're here. You may have been invited here by someone that was really excited about maybe some results they were getting from a certain device, or maybe because of the business opportunity, maybe you heard that person was doing very well in such a short time. Maybe it was both, not sure. But whatever the reason is, we're glad you're here. So tonight we're going to talk about really two things. We're going to talk about two big challenges that no one really prepares us for. And one is proactive wellness, and the other one is strategic timing. If you are here to look at the opportunity side tonight and how to create real leverage, that's here as well. So I'm going to go through first. We're going to talk about proactive wellness. Let's talk about the United States here. We spend more on healthcare than any nation in history. I think we all know that. So why are we still getting sicker? Well, we all know, right? It's just we're not proactive when it comes to wellness, right? They don't teach us how to do things. They spend trillions on, healthcare. Chronic illness is rising, daily prescriptions is rising. And that's really because, the crisis we have here, the obesity crisis here in America, the physical inactivity that most people are experiencing, and, really just spending 9.5 hours on average per day sitting. Why health innovation matters more than ever. Well, that right there will tell you why. And 70% of adults in the US take at least one prescription drug daily. And the average American will take 50,000 pills in their lifetime and still never be taught how to make their body work better. Right? We all know that. It's a big problem here in the United States. The system makes money when people stay sick. We all know that, right? Not when they stay optimized. Well, we're going to teach you tonight a different way. We're going to teach you not to be part of the reactive model, which that's what we do, right? We wait for symptoms, we diagnose, and then we prescribe. Not us. I'm not a doctor. I don't prescribe, right? But that's what we do, right? Really the global wellness industry right now is experiencing massive growth. And a big reason for that is something we call biohacking. That includes PEMF. We're going to talk about that tonight. Red light therapy and recovery tech. And there's a major global shift in how people approach health right now. People want drug-free solutions. The world's shifting towards prevention, not treatment. And tech and health are merging. AI-guided wellness tools, at-home devices replacing clinic visits. And PEMF, like I said, we're going to talk about that. What's driving the growth the most is the aging population, increased chronic conditions, and really the demand for in-home therapy devices. So we're going to talk about that tonight a little bit. And Olylife, our company, we're going to talk about Olylife, is where this smack dab in the middle of all this. They're really pioneering this in-home device, era. Really, we're in the middle of right now, but it's brand new. That's what's exciting about it. We're going to talk about being the part of the proactive model, support the body daily, improve resilience, and optimize function. So a little background on the company. The company's just over 3 years old. It was actually launched in Singapore, and there's headquarters in China and Singapore. There's branch offices in Malaysia and Thailand, Indonesia, Hong Kong. And they're rapidly right now expanding into the US, South Korea, Canada, Japan. All right. And why are they rapidly expanding? Well, because the company exploded in the first 3 years in Asia. And there's advanced research and development. There's 3 years of research, and they actually own laboratories in Sweden and Germany. There's thousands of global patents on the research, and there's European certifications. And also, there's made with advanced parts and rare metals only found in Japan, and they're assembled in Asia. So, really, really neat what's about to happen here in the United States, because right now they're doing 80 plus million per month in sales in Asia. 80 million per month. That's just shocking. And the company's only just over 3 years old. They actually did 1 billion in sales their second calendar year in business. 1 billion. They've created 500 millionaires in 3 years in Asia. And they're shipping to over 180 countries now. And so using AI, this company is just flying. It's a technology company. And because of AI, it's just moving really, really fast. And, a lot of people like to say proofs in the pudding, We have, like I said, tons of patents on these devices. The proofs in the pudding here. This is not some, just something put together. They spent tons of money to create these patents, create these devices, all this research, and the scientific backing and global reach. So again, we talk about PEMF. What does that stand for? It stands for pulsed electromagnetic frequency. And the core technology philosophy is PEMF in terahertz, and base therapy focused on activating and revitalizing cells, enhancing microcirculation and metabolism, promoting meridian flow, fat burning and body sculpting, detoxification, pain, inflammation, and fatigue relief. So PEMF is actually not new. Maybe you've heard of it for the first time tonight, maybe not. I didn't know much about it, over a year ago. I didn't know anything about it, but it was originally developed by NASA to support astronaut health in zero gravity environments. So pretty neat. They actually used to give the astronauts, they still do, right? When they came back from space, their body is in bad shape, right? Because they've been in zero gravity, so it's hard to get used to back to gravity. So they give these astronauts PEMF technology, and it would help them repair their body quicker. And if you look at the evolution of PEMF technology in the early 20th century, EMF, which is electromagnetic fields, were introduced through electricity, radio, and modern tech. And then it was growing awareness in the mid to late 20th century. In the 60s and 70s, that's when these scientists were exploring pulsed electromagnetic fields as a way to support cellular health and recovery. And then PMF and wellness. These devices, they created these devices and they were like 30, 40, $50,000 devices. And if you went to maybe a really good physical therapy place or a really good doctor or a wellness place, you could get therapy, PEMF therapy there to recover quicker. But it was really only available for the people that had a lot of money or people that knew about it, maybe like Shaquille O'Neal. He actually used this therapy, PEMF therapy, to really help his career. With all his injuries, he recovered a lot quicker using this. You can actually look at a YouTube, look at Shaquille O'Neal and PMF therapy. It's all over YouTube. In the 2020s, here comes Olylife. Okay, advancing the PMF with cutting-edge user-friendly devices designed to enhance everyday wellness in your home. And finally, they are available for everybody because they're not six, seven, $10,000 machines. They're actually a lot less expensive. So the science behind terahertz, the Tera P90 Plus, which I think the majority of people get when they get this technology. Terahertz waves have been explored in scientific studies for the potential interaction with biological systems. So what does it do? Okay, it activates cellular energy. It improves blood flow and circulation. It supports brain and mood. I mean, you use these devices, you just feel better. But so what's neat about this is a lot of people, when they see this, go, "Oh, I've heard of PMF, or I've had PMF somewhere, or I have a mat. I have these mats that I've been using. How is this different? Why is this company flying? Why is it growing so fast? Why are people going crazy about these devices?" Well, the reason being is it's different. It's different technology. So Olylife, they patented its unique combination of frequencies. They bring in together PEMF and radio frequency. And then terahertz, we talked about that terahertz energy. So the PMF and radio frequencies are the therapeutic energies, call them the healers, okay? While the terahertz energy acts as the carrier, helping drive those frequencies deep into the body, approximately 1 to 5 centimeters, depending on the device level being used. So that's what's neat about it. This company patented is technology. Okay. They patented the delivery of this technology. And that's why people are seeing incredible results with these devices. So here are some of our devices here. The Therapy 90, that's their flagship product. That one on the left there, they did $1 billion in sales. Like I said, their second year in business with just that device. And they've evolved with new devices over the last couple years here. The Terra P90 Plus, like I said, that one's incredible. Galaxy G1 goggles, I love that's probably my favorite device. Vitality Wand, the Bomber Air. There's several different ones. There's a new one here called the Shake and Massager. I know some of you on here, I see that you guys love these devices. I actually wore this today while I made dinner. My daughter was making fun of me. She goes, "You wearing that Shake and Massager while you making dinner?" I'm like, "Yes, I am." I wasn't mad at her for saying that because I was getting some help in my midsection while I was wearing it. So the P90, okay, what does it do again? What I would suggest is I would look up, if you use any kind of AI, whether it's ChatGPT or Gronk or whatever you use, go on to your AI and just type in what are the benefits of PEMF, and you'll see it's all positive. Talk about circulation, inflammation, helps with, different repairs, repairing, injuries, repairing certain things. So a lot of things this technology does. It's absolutely incredible. And really, like we talked about, it's for your home use. Okay, low field magnetic stimulation. And I mean, these devices are absolutely incredible. I do want to show you some proof of what this technology can do. So this is a live blood analysis of someone that you'll see here. Under a microscope, her blood is barely moving, all clumped together. That's what probably most people's blood looks like, especially if you've been sitting down a lot, not moving around.
Wow. That's amazing. That is amazing.
And as you can see, after a 20-minute PMF session on our P90 Plus, look at her blood flow. Okay. So much better. So I'll stop right here and just tell you my quick story. I was experiencing last 5 or 6 years, I experienced some leg pain every night. I go to bed and my legs would throb, they'd ache. Tried a lot of different supplements, tried a lot of different things. It's probably due to me sitting down for 14 hours a day, 7 days a week for 2 years. I was a health insurance agent, and I called leads literally for 2 years straight, and I gained weight. I had varicose veins in my legs and just was experiencing a lot of leg pain. Um, and I had one of my varicose veins needled. That didn't help. So after using the P90 Plus for 21 days, since that 21st day, I haven't experienced any pain in my legs. My legs don't feel heavy anymore. I don't wake up in the middle of the night and have to take Advil. My legs feel incredible. They feel lighter. My workouts are better now. My recovery is a lot quicker. I just feel great. And my mood is great too. So these devices are no joke. And that made sense when I saw that video of all the blood kind of clumping together. That's probably what my blood was doing. That's why I was throbbing. And now my blood's flowing like crazy after using this P90 Plus. So the global eye strain crisis, we all know that we look at our screens way too long, way too often and way too long. Overexposure to blue light can lead to digital eye fatigue. I was talking to somebody today, and she was asking about these goggles, and there's been a lot of people that said their eyesight is getting better. Not only that, but their headaches. When people get headaches, they use this device, and it helps with their headaches. Might help with anxiety, right? I know every time I put this on, I fall asleep. It relaxes me so much. I fall asleep. So I know if I want to go to sleep, I'm putting these on. But these Galaxy G1 goggles we have right here are absolutely incredible. Let me go here. There we go. Relieve eye strain and promote relaxation. Use gentle massage and heat technology for a soothing experience. I mean, these things are incredible. And we talked about earlier the shaken massager. This, I got to tell you, it's pretty incredible. Helps with visceral fat loss. Uses high frequency vibration, heat therapy, massage. Um, there's been a lot of people that actually measure their waistline, and they use this. Also comes with a watch as well, a smartwatch. Thank you, Kristen. And but a lot of people have measured the midsection, and they've worn this for 1 or 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and their midsection is shrinking. So it's pretty neat. Now we can't make claims, right? I'm not saying it's going to happen to you, but there is a possibility. But get back to the person that invited you on here, and listen, get a device. I was talking to someone today also about, I've been with this company now just over 3 months, and you know, we've talked to a lot of people. We've grown a team of over four, I mean, check almost 500 people now in just the last 90 days or so, and everybody that's got a device, and I mean everybody is feeling something. Everybody is experiencing something. And that's incredible. I've never seen that before in any business I was a part of. Whether it was selling skincare, whether it was health and nutrition, whether it was weight loss, whatever it was never 100% of the people. There was always a percentage of people that said, I don't know. I don't think it's working, or I didn't lose any weight, or I don't see a difference, right? But every single person is experiencing something positive. And that's truly remarkable. So find the Olylife device that fits your needs and take the first step towards a healthier, happier you. You will not be disappointed, trust me. So that's the technology part of our presentation tonight. That's the devices. I'm going to switch gears now and go into, if you're here tonight to learn about possibly a way to make some really good, call it a, side hustle, whatever you want to call it, right? Just spreading the word here, because the great thing about this right now is the timing. Okay, we are brand new, really all over the world, right? It's 3 years old in Asia, but brand new in the United States, Australia, Europe, South America, Africa. It's brand new everywhere. So, three reasons why this business is a home run. Okay, the product is demonstratable. You can literally put people's feet on this device and they will feel it. Now, some people feel like they feel a result as in they may sleep better that night, or their body just may feel better after one session. Okay, and that's how this all started. When my sponsors, Tuan and Van, good friends of mine, when they were deciding to build this, instead of them putting their feet on it to see if it worked, they invited over their neighbors. And this woman was in a bad car accident and she had a lot of inflammation in her body. She had trouble walking. So she came over the house and she could barely walk in their house. She sat down on the couch, put her feet on the P90 Plus, and she was like, "What is this?" And they said, "I don't know. It's some PEMF device. Watch this 6-minute video." So she watched this 6-minute video about PEMF and also another short video about the different devices I just went over. Sat there for 20 minutes. They talked for a while and she got up and she walked out of their house so much better than she walked in. And about an hour later, her husband called Tuan and Van, my friends, and said, "I don't know what that device was, but my wife feels so much better just after 20 minutes. I want to get that device for her because I want her to experience this every day." So they bought that P90 Plus and the goggles because they saw that. And Tuan and Van sat there and were like, "Wow, in 25 years in this industry, I've never had a product that was so demonstratable, that actually worked the first time." So you can feel it working. And it's not a huge lifestyle change. Okay. You're not going out there and having to keep buying all this inventory, stockpile in your garage with different devices. That's not how it works here. Okay. But the most important thing is timing. We all talk about that, right? Timing matters more than talent all the time. If you talk about location in real estate, it's all about location, right? Business, it's timing. In Olylife right now, look at where that red dot is. That's where we sit. There's 3 phases to every business: a startup phase, growth, and stability phase. Now, the startup phase, they already blew it out of the water. In Asia, the startup phase, they crushed it. In 3 years, they did over 2 billion in sales. And, now they're exploring other countries, right? We're launching here in the US. And now we're getting ready for explosive growth. That's where if you're looking at a business, you want to be part of something that's moving, that's exploding, and you can just kind of just take a seat on the train, right? And you're going to go that way, right? If a train's going 100 miles an hour that way, right? And you get on, you're going that way, right? So you want to be part of something that's moving fast. And the key to business success is seizing the right moment. And eventually we're going to get to the stability phase. That's when everybody's going to know about these devices. Everybody will have one in their home. Okay. It's just going to make sense. Can you still make money? Sure. Because there's other devices that will come out that they'll want. But it's kind of like phones, cell phones, right? People made a lot of money when cell phones came out. Can people still make money on cell phones? Yeah, because you buy another one every now and then, right? But can you make a ton of money? Probably not, unless you invent some new cell phone, right? So seizing the right moment. How do you get in business right now? Well, you buy a device. Okay, you buy $1,000 device and you're in business. The great thing about this is you get to use it forever. Okay, it's not consumable. So you're not going to drink it and have to buy another $1,000 next month. Okay, or put it on your skin and buy another $1,000 next month. It can be used by the whole family. It's global ready. There's no auto ship. So if you're looking at a home-based business, if you've been in this industry before, I've been in, 30 years, I've been in this industry. And every company, in order to stay qualified and get paid, you have to purchase, you have to be a customer, okay? And you have to purchase so much, which, hey, it's fine. I think you should have to do that, right? If you're part of a company where you're using products, because you don't want to be a used car salesman and not, you want to drive that car if you're going to sell it, right? So same thing with products. But here you don't have to, which is great. There's no auto ship, daily payout, high retention here because the devices actually work. So product purchasing. So you can buy $1,000, $2,000, $6,000, anywhere in between. Okay. You get in where you fit in. That's what I like to say. And there's 7 ways to earn. I'm going to go over a couple of them here. I'm not going to go over all 7 here. But the main thing is there's no joining fee. Okay, with other companies, it might be a certain fee to join the business. Here, you get a device, you're in business, no subscription, you're active forever with a one-time purchase. You can build international teams, there's passive potential, and we build a binary compensation plan. So if you've been a part of a binary compensation plan, you know how fast they can build, especially if you're in the explosive phase, which we're not quite in the explosive phase, in the momentum phase. But when we get there, trust me, it's gonna crush. So binary means two legs. Okay, you build a left leg and a right leg. Now, when you come in here and you just start sharing these devices, I'm going to tell you how to do it. It's very simple. When you start telling people about these devices and they want to get a device, they're going to go first on your left leg automatically. And then your second person is going to go on your right leg. Okay. I'm going to talk about a team bonus here. I've never seen this in any business I've been a part of. I haven't talked to one person that said they've ever seen this. I don't think it exists. It does here at Olylife. So what's neat about this, if you've ever been in these businesses before, right, a home-based business, have you ever made money off of the person above you? Probably not, right? So here, when you get started, you take the next spot in the binary plan, the binary compensation plan. You take a spot with your product, and the person you're directly below, okay, the person directly above you, when they make money, you're going to make 5% of what they make. So if you come in for $1,000 device, you can make up to $3,000 off the person's income above you. If you come in for $2,000, you can make up to 6,000. If you come in for 6,000, you make up to 18,000. So you can come into three times as much of your package you can make off the person above you. So if the person above you makes $10,000, you make $500. Pretty incredible, right? I mean, there's people in this business now that just purchased the device because they want, the benefits from the devices, and they're making money because they're placed below someone that's actually going out and building this business and spreading the word. Pretty neat. Okay, I've never seen that before. Another thing we have here is a performance bonus. When you get started and you share, let's say you share a device with Kristen, and Kristen wants $1,000 device, maybe the shaking massager, that comes with a 750 point value. You make 10% of that point value is 750, 10% would be $75 performance bonus. If someone comes in, let's say Kristen gets a P90 Plus and also the goggles, that's $2,000. Then you'd have 1,500 PV for that. You'd earn $150. And same thing, $6,000 package, okay, you'd make $450. So this right here is probably the most incredible tier bonus or bonus I've ever seen in my 30-year career. Okay. This is why people in this company are making five, six, $10,000 their first month in this business. I mean, because of this right here. All right. So when you come on board, let's say that's you in this circle there, and you bring on A1 and then you sponsor B1. When you bring one on your left and one on your right, you're going to experience what we call a tier bonus. Now, if both people, A1 and B1, purchase $1,000 device, you're going to make $375 tier bonus. And then let's say A1 that you brought in brings in A2 and B1 brings in B2, and they'll both do $1,000 device. You're going to earn another $375. And it keeps going to infinity. There's no cap on this. It keeps going and going and going and going. So you can earn unlimited amount of tier bonuses. And it gets even better because a lot of people come in actually this business with the P90 Plus and the goggles we talked about. And that would be a $2,000 starter package. So if both A and B on each side, A comes in for 2,000, B comes in for 2,000, you actually earn a $750 tier bonus. And the same thing goes down. It just depends what people purchase. If both people come in for the P90 Plus, okay, that's actually a $562.50 tier bonus if both people do it on each side. And if both people come in for 6,000, maybe that's a chiropractor. A lot of people are, telling their chiropractors, their salon owners about these, and they're putting them in their spas or their chiropractic offices and, salons, whatever. And they're buying extra devices. So if both people come in for $6,000, you make $2,250 on that tier bonus. Pretty incredible. So let me show you exactly how this works to give you an illustration here. So Tuan and Van are my sponsors. They're actually the ones that are leading the charge here in America. They launched America. They've created all the tools for us. The websites. They did everything. They actually just became the first millionaires outside of Asia about a week and a half ago. In the first 11 months in this business, earned over $1 million. I mean, I know it sounds outrageous. Okay. That is a lot of money in such a short time, but it's really because of how fast this is growing. And it's because these devices work and because of this compensation plan I'm going to show you right here. So Tuan and Van are my sponsors. Okay. They sponsored me. Let's say I come out and sponsor you. Okay. And let's say you just sign up, right? You're logging in, right? And Tuan and Van are out there sharing it with people, and they actually place someone front level on your left side. Okay. So you have the opportunity for people to help you potentially. Okay. So you might experience this spillover. So Tuan and Van put someone down your left, and you're all excited, like, wow, I didn't even do anything yet. You get someone on your left, and then I put someone on your left, and then you're starting to learn the really simple system, right? I send you an email and you see, wow, it's simple. All I got to do is send a picture of the device to people and say, have you seen this device yet? So you send it to a couple people and they say, no, I haven't seen it. And they say, what is it? And you say, it's a PEMF device. And they say, what's that? And you say, go on your chat GPT and look up what are the benefits of PEMF. And they do that and they see it's all positive and they start thinking to themselves, wow, I have some inflammation. I have circulation issues. I have a back problem. I have knee problems, whatever. Maybe this can help. And you look up their ailment in PEMF and it says it could help them. So they actually get started. You bring your first person on board and they do what Kristen did, right? They do a P90 Plus and the goggles. They start with $2,000. And for this illustration, we're going to pretend everybody bought a $2,000 package to start. So when your person does that, you get a performance bonus of $150. Remember that 10% of 1,500 in volume. And then you bring on your second person, you get another performance bonus, and then you experience your first tier bonus. And because both people on each side did $2,000, you made a $750 tier bonus. Incredible, right? And then what happens is your people bring on a couple people down the left and they keep going down the left. You didn't bring any of those people in, but then you bring your third person in. You get another performance bonus and you get another tier bonus. And then you bring in your fourth person and you get another tier bonus, another performance bonus. And then you actually, your second person, number two, brings in their first person. Remember, the first person goes on the left side and it goes below number four. And look at that tier. You didn't bring either one of those people in personally, but you still made a $750 tier bonus. And then it happens again. Your third person brings in their first person. You get another tier bonus. And then you bring your fifth person and your sixth person, and you get two more performance bonuses and two more tier bonuses. So if you look at this illustration, how many people did you bring in? You brought in six people. But there's 14 people in your organization because other people brought them in and you actually reap the rewards of that. And look at what you made for performance bonuses. You brought in six people times 150 is $900 in performance bonuses. And you got seven tiers times 750, which is $5,250. In this illustration, you earned over $6,000 with just 14 people in your team and you only brought in six. Where have you ever seen that powerful of a plan? I don't think it exists out there. So now you can see why people like Kristen, Kristen is on here right now. Her first 30 days, she made over $6,000 in the first 30 days. Just asking people if they've seen this device, making a couple posts on social media. That's it. And what else? You also have volume that goes in, and we talked about the point value. So with this scenario here was seven people times 1,500, that's 10,500 on the left and right. What does that do for you? Well, you hit the first rank of M1, the leadership rank. And then the company's given 5% of their company's annual revenue, and they're going to share it among the qualified members, M1 to M7. I'm going to show you that in a second. And all you have to do to keep this, once a year, they pay out this percentage, okay, 5% of the company's annual revenue. They share it among everybody that's qualified. All you got to do to keep this every year is to bring on one person that gets a device once a year. That's it, one person, okay? And you can earn this forever. Now, achieve once, earn for life. Okay, we talked about M1, that would be M1. M2 is a little bit more, and you see you get more shares as your team grows. And the nice thing about this, yeah, Kristen's really excited because she's almost at M2 already. But what's exciting about this is, like I say, we're brand new and your volume never flushes. Like other companies, okay, when the end of the month, you really work hard to the end of the month. And then the first day of the month, you see all your volumes zero. Okay. Not here. It keeps accumulating. It never goes backwards. So pretty incredible. So I want to just talk about, again, reiterate the timing. Why do I see this company moving so fast? Why do I see people, making so much money so quick? Why are people getting great results with these devices? We already talked about that, but I think a big reason why people are having such fast success with this company is again because nobody knows about it. Okay. So if I was talking tonight about a GLP-1 product, a weight loss product, or a peptide, or, a skincare product, right? Everybody's got a GLP-1 product right now. Everybody's got a peptide. Then you have to be a salesperson. Then you have to be like, hey, let me tell you why mine is better than what you're already using. Or when you market skincare, hey, let me tell you why this skincare is great. Well, I already have skincare. Well, mine is better. You got to sell it. Here, you don't have to be a salesperson because nobody has a PEMF device. You're not going to come up against people going, oh, I got one of those already. Okay? People don't have them in their home. They're too expensive before now. They were five, six, seven, $10,000. People couldn't afford them. Now they're affordable. So you don't have to be a salesperson. If you can send a picture to somebody and say, hey, Kristen, have you seen this before? She's going to say, no, what is it? And if you could say, go to ChatGPT and look up PEMF, what are the benefits? And then you can add them to a Facebook testimonial page that we have, and they can read all these testimonials of people using the device with maybe the same ailments they have. If you can do that, then you can do this business. And you can be the first to share it with your audience, with your network. See, the thing is, if you've been invited here tonight or maybe shared this video, and it's the only person that invited you was the only person that told you about it, chances are your entire network doesn't know about it yet. So what does that spell? That spells opportunity. You could be the first to your network, and most likely your people's networks don't know about it, which creates an incredible opportunity. I think this is once in a lifetime opportunity right here. I really do because of the timing. Think about all the baby boomers right now that have ailments really bad. Everybody's aging. They need help. We can help those people with these devices. And we can save them a trip to the doctors, right? Save them maybe they could get off some prescriptions potentially by using these devices. Maybe they can live longer, right? They can just feel better. So we really have something special here tonight. So I hope you get back to the person who invited you on tonight and get started. You will not regret it. Trust me. This is the most fun I've had in 30 years, the simplest thing I've done in 30 years, and I think the best product I've ever marketed in 30 years. So with that, thanks so much for joining us, everybody. Take care. We'll see you next Tuesday night. Take care and take charge, everybody. Bye-bye.